What's up everybody, just doing a chill video of my wish list on MyFigureCollection. This is a website and database for Japanese related figures, and it's great for keeping track of figures you've owned, ordered, and the ones you wish to get. Unfortunately, we can't get them all, so I thought it'd be fun to see which ones I still want to pick up one day, and which ones I could live without. I think we'll get started with Evangelion figures. So first up we have Misato, best girl in my opinion. She's a 1/6 scale by Kotobukiya, released all the way back in 2008, which is pretty old, but not a problem because I prefer older girls. What's more confusing than Evangelion's plot is that Misato just doesn't get a lot of figures, but the angels have blessed us and Mega House is coming out with one, which also has Pen Pen. I still love this one, but I probably don't need both, so I'm gonna probably cut it. Next we have this one of Asuka made by Alter, probably the most popular Asuka figure. But even worse than Misato, I already have two Asukas pre-ordered. I think this figure has it all, the hat, the jacket, the butt. But best of all is her expression, which I think really captures how tough she is, but also how much she's fought and persevered for, to the point she's just kind of fed up with all the BS. But it's also neat that you can take off her hat. Anyways, Asuka gets the axe. Then we have Mari, who by the end of the movies, I really like the role she played in the story, but this is the Radio Eva figure, which is a collab between Fila and Eva, and they're all wearing fashionable street clothes, which is something you just don't see a lot with figures. There's also a grayscale version of this, but I feel like the red just gives a nice pop and contrast. But this is one I do plan on picking up. They've been re-releasing the Radio Eva figures with the new Part 2 versions. I don't think I can justify getting both of them. I think I prefer the outfit and pose of the first one a bit more, so I think this one will get the axe. I recently finished Ranking of Kings, and the first 12 episodes were just magical. Unfortunately, pre-orders are closed for most sites, so I think I'm just gonna try to pick them up on release. But Boji is a good boy, and you just want to support him in the series, so definitely keeping him on the wish list. Then we have the lovely Sakura Miku Nendoroid. I don't really want it because it's cute, but rather it comes with these sunglasses and faceplate that looks like she's about to blast you with every curse word in broken English. But I just got Snow Miku 2022, which had sunglasses, and VTuber Nendoroids are pricier, so I think I'm gonna axe this one. Then we have the ultimate harem master, Katarina. I think what I liked about the show was her interacting with her harem of boys and girls. So it kinda sucks for me that you don't have any of the other characters. So I think I'm gonna axe this one. Then you have Aether from Genshin Impact. Unfortunately, I'm still addicted to Genshin Impact, but his character design and outfit is just very androgynous. Like, it's awesome that he has a ponytail and a belly shirt. So I think I'm gonna save this one. Oh shit, I think he went up for pre-order already. I guess I missed his pre-order, so I'll try to pick it up when he releases. This is the Gyoza Fairy from Dorohedoro, which is pretty crazy because they haven't made a Nendoroid of the main characters or villains. But I mean, look at this shit. It's just so stupid and silly. I love it. This little dumpy dumpling comes with like soy sauce and an extra body piece with his dumpling meat spilling out. But at the time, I just thought he was way too pricey for what you get. It just seemed like a very simple Nendoroid with one color. And because he was kinda limited, he's even more expensive now in the aftermarket, so I think I'm gonna have to chop this one. I mentioned this before, but I love Guilty Gear Strive. Ramlethal isn't my favorite though, so I'm a little on the fence, but I think I'll save it for now. I still make SpongeBob references, it's also super nostalgic for me, but I think this one's gonna depend on how meme-worthy all the accessories are, so I'm gonna keep an eye on it. This is the what if version of Hatsune Miku, as in what if they went with the original design for her, where she has a single ponytail and these dark colors and kind of cat ears. She's also a bit more of a tsundere, which is very cute, and just kind of has a more rock vibe than an idol. I actually prefer the ponytail over the twin tails, but I think this Miku is pretty limited, so she's kind of pricey now, but I think she's special enough that I'm gonna keep her on the VIP list. Kirby's the one exception in my collection where I can never have enough Kirby stuff. Somebody told me he was still available on Good Smile US, but they've done a lot of re-releases for him, and with the new game this year, I hope they do another one because I really want the pre-order bonus, which it's just a freaking tomato, but you know, I want it all. The coolest part is that it's made of magnets, so you can just put the arms and legs wherever. But obviously this one is a keeper. We also have the blue Ice Kirby, but it comes with a red headband, so you can use it to make Kung Fu Fighter Kirby. If you saw my video on bootlegs, you know I got rid of my counterfeit figures. So I would like to replace them one day with the authentic version. Luca Megarine is still a really nice figure, though I don't listen to many of her songs anymore. But I don't think her aftermarket price is too crazy, so I'm gonna still try to pick this up one day. This one by Mega House is still probably my favorite Kakashi figure. He recently got re-released. Kakashi isn't my favorite Naruto character anymore, but I still like to get him for nostalgia. And it's hard to justify paying so much when I'm just not that into Naruto anymore. Ironically, we have Erza from Fairy Tail. This one's pretty old by X+, and I think it's pretty pricey in the aftermarket. So I think there's no chance I'm gonna get this figure. But even though I don't care about Fairy Tail anymore, I might get another Erza figure because she's still a very attractive lady. Android 18, a childhood crush and one that could crush me. Even though I already have an Android 18 figure, this is her in her original outfit. But since this is Mega House, even though she's a robot, she's got a lot of meat on her. But there's a low chance I'll ever get her just cause she's kinda expensive and there's a lot of bootlegs out there. But I'm still gonna keep her on the list. I have Mordred here just cause she kinda looks badass. It's a pop-up parade, so it's not gonna break the bank, though I do wish they gave her a weapon. We got a large pop-up parade of Guts in his Berserker armor. It's pretty hard to find a good Berserk figure that's not a resin statue, so this will probably stay on the wish list. On the other hand, we have Figmas, which have just gotten so expensive for how small they are that I just don't think they're worth it. Even though the concept is really cool, especially since it's designed by the artist Neko, I would have just preferred a scale figure, and seeing her without the samurai stuff just looked kinda lame. So this one's definitely a cut. Same thing with Lady Maria from Bloodborne. She's just really expensive, especially the deluxe version for a 6-inch figure. But I want to get the deluxe version because it comes with her chair. And since I wouldn't be posing her in any other way, I would just really prefer a larger scale figure. And there's no way I'm getting my hands on the resin statue. So I think both of these are dead to me. I think it's time we move on to the scale anime figures. So first up is an alter figure of Yoko from Gurren Lagann. This one was all the way back in 2009. So finding this at a reasonable price is pretty slim, but I think it's the coolest Yoko figure. I just really like this cool and confident vibe that she gives off rather than the cutesy one you usually see. The bounty hunter aesthetic with the jacket and the gun just do a lot for me. I'm gonna keep this one on the wish list, but it's a shot in the dark if I'll ever get her. But speaking of bounty hunters, let's talk about Vash from Trigun. It is made by Kotobukiya, so there is a chance he'll actually get re-released. Trigun is very nostalgic, and I still think it holds up. So Vash is probably the top of my list when it comes to most wanted male characters. Then we have a pretty popular figure of Erina from Shokugeki. She's made by Good Smile, and there's a chance she might get re-released. Obviously, it gives off Queen vibes, and is just a stunning figure. It even comes with a little hand to pay respects, but I lost a lot of respect for Erina during the final arc of the series, so I think she's gonna get chopped. I do really like her chair. We got my man Kuwabara from Yu Yu Hakusho. Like Vash, he is made by Kotobukiya, so there is a chance for a rerun. Kuwabara is a character I appreciate as I get older, just a delinquent with a good heart, and he's just a really good bro. Shinobu from Demon Slayer. The prototype for this looks so good, especially with the effect parts and her doing this like backwards flip. But then when I saw photos of her, she just looked kind of faded and washed out. The colors just didn't wow me. And Demon Slayer doesn't hold a special place in my heart, so this was an easy cut. I do really want an Albedo figure because I just really like figures with wings. And Overlord is a pretty fun series. But this one is made by Katakawa, and I feel like we don't really get a lot of figures with Albedo in her regular outfit. But like Shinobu, I didn't really like the way she turned out. The base and the support rod aren't really doing it for me. But Spirit Tail is working on a figure portrait of her. I think Spirit Tail has some of the coolest figures, so I'm holding out hopes for this one. But another Overlord figure is this one made by Alter. Also a very unique looking figure. I think she's gonna turn out really good, and I tend to like the more minor characters, so I'm gonna keep both of them on the list for now, but I'll probably only end up buying one Overlord figure. Not a lot of confidence in Aniplex. We have Marion from My Dress Up Darling. I'm sure that we're gonna get a bunch of other figures of Marion, but at the moment, this is currently my favorite one. We have this Darkness figure in a kimono, but there is a kimono figure that I like better that we'll get to. And I already have 2 Darkness pop-up parades, so I think I'm gonna kick this one out of the party. We have Rain from G Gundam, easily in my top 10 favorite animes. I really wanted her because I have Domon on the right. This figure is made by Mega House, who I think just got way too thirsty. I don't think it really fits her character, so I'm gonna have to pull the eject on this one. This time we have a scale figure of Katarina, but it's made by Furyu and I think they charge way too much. It's a really fun figure, especially with the bear, but yeah, I just can't justify the price Furyu's asking for. I love JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, but most of their figures are SH Figuarts, which are posable, which I'm not really a fan of. So I'm kinda excited for this Jolene figure. Hopefully it turns out well and it's not too crazy expensive. I really wanted this figure of All Might fused with a lion. I just can't help but chuckle every time I see it. Unfortunately, you have to buy the whole set, so I think I'm gonna axe this one. Figurama showed off these diorama cubes with video games, and they're really cute and chibi, but I just love some of these iconic video game moments, so I definitely want all 3. Hopefully they're still making them because I can't find any new information since they've shown them. We have this figure of Zero, one of my favorite video game characters of all time. This has been out for a few years, so it's a little expensive. But I don't want to give up on Zero, so he's gonna stay on the wish list. Kyoko from Danganronpa, an amazing figure, but I already have a Monokuma Nendoroid, so I rather prioritize figures from series I don't have or really love. Same with Kaede from V3. Another amazing figure, especially with the base and the way they did the music pages. Kaede is also just a great design with all the music notes, and even though V3 is my favorite in the series, but just like Kyoko, I'd rather get series I don't have figures for yet. We have a figure of Zero Suit Samus from Other M, which a lot of people aren't a fan of, but this is like her only scale figure. It even comes with a little Metroid buddy. I do prefer the way she looks in Smash Bros. Ultimate, but she's still pretty hot, so she stays. But speaking of hot blondes with ponytails, I always had a man crush on Terry as a kid. But in one game, SNK turned him into a hot girl, and now they're making a figure of her. So even though I'm confused, I still kinda want it. But I'm sure most fighting game fans also have a crush on Mai. Female fighting game characters really appealed to the guys back then. This one by Amakuni has a more anime aesthetic, but I already have another Mai figure ordered, so this one gets kicked out. We have another Guilty Gear figure. This is Mei with her redesign from Strive. This would be an instant pre-order if they included her dolphins, but it's still early so there might be a chance. But until we see more pictures of her, Mei stays. I had a bunch of Rathalos figures on my wish list after being kinda disappointed with the one I unboxed, but I kinda came around on it after seeing how good it looked with the amiibos. So I don't need another Rathalos figure now, but I do want to mention this really cool one. This one is crazy expensive, it's a full-on statue that lights up. But with the hunters there, I think you get a really good sense of the scale of the Rathalos and how intimidating it is. Also, it's got a little Palico cat. I'm sure everyone loves 2B, and the one by Flare is really great, especially the deluxe version, since it comes with the pod robot, the alternate head, and the 2B butt. But I'm probably gonna have to cut it because I actually want a figure of A2 more. Hopefully the one by Square Enix turns out good, but it's still super early. I also had the Play Arts Kai one bookmarked, but it's way too expensive and I really rather just have a scale version. But even though I don't really collect posable figures, the deluxe version has A2 with her short hair and a giant claymore. Next, let's talk about Fate, specifically Saber, one of the most popular characters for anime figures. This is Saber Alter, made by Alter. This figure is elegant and gorgeous, especially with the way the dress folds. She also has her badass sword, and an option to display her without the sleeves. Unfortunately, she's in competition with every other Saber figure. This Saber Alter is made by Amakuni. It just recently came out, this one being a little more flashy than the previous one, but you can also take off the jacket. She also comes with a big rifle, but the thing is she has the palm of her hand on the barrel, and that's just bad gun safety, I can't endorse that. Then we have the third Saber Alter figure on my wish list. This one is made by Katakawa. I think this one has an edge over the other two because I think the kimono and umbrella are just amazing. I've been wanting to get a kimono figure, so this kills two birds with one stone, so I think I'm gonna keep this one on my wish list, and I'm gonna have to kill off the other two saber chicks. Next we have Artoria Lancer. This one is made by Eastream, who are known for their expensive figures, and this one is no exception. And it's because they decided to include a giant throne and staircase. If I could just get the figure itself, this would be my favorite saber figure. I just really love the way the armor looks on her and she has that giant cape, but I just can't justify the price, so I'm gonna have to behead this king. Then we have another Artoria Lancer figure. This one is made by Good Smile Company, though it is a 1/8 scale, so it's smaller overall, though in some areas it does appear larger, mainly because she's sitting on a horse and raising her lance to the sky. Overall, it's just an awesome figure with the horse being pulled on its reins and it's just on its hind legs, so I think this one's a keeper. Hopefully we can get a re-release because I don't want to pay aftermarket. Then we have Saber Lancer Alter. This one is made by QsQ or QuezQ. The demon horse with its red eyes and white mane is just so cool. This one hasn't been painted yet, but this is probably going to be an instant pre-order. You can see it's pretty similar to the previous figure, so I think they would look awesome side by side. Last but definitely not least is Artoria Ruler by Kotobukiya. This one is a total queen, and it's probably the only swimsuit figure I really like. As you can see from the artwork, it doesn't really feel like a swimsuit, it's very elegant, especially with all the little patterns. So I'm totally keeping this one. As I was making this video, she went up for pre-order. She is a bit more expensive than other Kotobukiya figures, but this one was an instant purchase, no hesitation. Next, we're gonna go over a bunch of miscellaneous figures that I don't have a lot of attachment to or don't know the source material, so basically all of these are gonna get cut. Fubuki, extremely cute and fun VTuber, but I just don't watch a lot of her. I do really like anime office ladies, so I do really like Doki-chan. The variant one is also really adorable with the smile, but Union Creative kind of dropped the ball on this one and the final product looked pretty bad compared to the prototype. The weeb in me is a sucker for samurais, and this one is a really good price too. I love everything about this figure except for the girl. She just doesn't give off the vibe I kind of want in a samurai figure. Another samurai with a more futuristic twist. I was really excited for this Neko figure, but it was just way too expensive. Also, I just really enjoy this figure from one angle. I didn't really like the way she looked from the front, just looked kinda goofy. And if I don't appreciate the figure in 3D, I might as well get a print or the art book with her. Another character design by Neko, but this one is made by Maetho, so it's a lot cheaper. But I mentioned this in my April news video. If I'm gonna get this, I would have to get all three girls, which is way too expensive. Another really cool figure, but just way too pricey. The tattoos on the figure are really cool, but I also like my girls to have legs. Same with the Fallslander figure, I think I just prefer the art print for this one. We still haven't seen a prototype of this figure, but I think this figure might be a little too spicy for me. One of the most adorable figures, but once again, just way too pricey. I do think the colors are a little too saturated compared to the original art, but the wolf plushie is so dang adorable. We have Sakuya from Idolmaster. I'm not familiar with Idolmaster and just that side of anime. Most anime idols are just like overly cute, but I just thought she gave off a really cool vibe. Then we have a couple of Arknight figures. I don't play Arknights and I already have one of their figures pre-ordered, so I just can't justify getting another. But Hoshiguma looks amazing. Tsukiyo not as much. I think her original art is outstanding, but I don't think her figure turned out nearly as well, especially the hair. Same deal with Azure Lane. I don't play it and I already have one of their figures pre-ordered, so no more. But I really love Belfast, she looks fabulous in that dress, and her little warthog is pretty adorable. Same thing with John. This one was very tempting with the dress and how elegant the wine racks looked, and I was very close to caving on this one, but then I saw this figure. This is Silva from Grand Blue Fantasy. In a lot of ways, she's very similar to the previous figure, and since she's from a series I don't own or have pre-ordered, I think she's a keeper. This one was at the top of my wish list for a while. This is Shiranui from Amiyoji. She went up for pre-order and it was just a lot more than I was expecting. The promotional photos for this are phenomenal, absolutely beautiful. but the actual base could have been a little bit better in my opinion. But I think that's just me coping because I can't afford her, and I'm kinda already in the red with other pre-orders. Then we have a Valkyria Chronicles figure, a 1/6 scale by Max Factory. She's a 1/6 scale, but she costs over 35,000 yen. There is so much going on with this figure, so I think the price is justified, but I think that's way too much to pay for a figure of a game I haven't played yet. But man, the gold and purple look amazing. And finally we get to our last section, which are bunny girls, which I think most of them aren't worth it for me, but there are a few I really like. This is Silvaria, also from Valkyria Chronicles. It's just nice when a bunny girl has an actual reference to her source material. But yeah, I haven't played the game, so skip. One bunny girl that I am keeping on the wish list is Revi from Black Lagoon. Of course, she has her iconic twin pistols. I think she has a great balance between looking badass and just very spicy. The cigarette and tattoo also do a lot for me. On MyFigureCollection, you can also see if a figure has variants. So Revi also has a shiny magenta version, though I do think the black is more fitting. I really wish they would do another release of Revi, but the devil laughed in my face because they are doing one, except it's the bare leg version, which if you're like me is a bummer because I think the real fabric tights are a big selling point. My favorite girl from Shokugeki is Rindo, but unfortunately her only figure is this freeing bunny. But I just wish they include like a kitchen knife or a frying pan. And it also feels like freeing is spiting me, because they're also doing a bare leg version of her. We have a bunny version of Chio. This one is made by Max Factory, and I think it's a lot better than the freeing one. And that's because I think it has a lot more personality. They even included some of the horror elements from the source material, like the eyeballs. And if you thought we were done with Artoria, we have a few bunnies of her, but unfortunately they're forever trapped on the wish list. Since Aquamarine went out of business, this one is cancelled. Hopefully another company makes a figure of her, because I think this bunny looks amazing. It's an actual design in the game. And I know there are other people who feel the same. There's even garage kits of her. Just imagine if Freeing actually made a 1/4 scale of this, with a little bit of higher quality. That would be an instant pre-order for me. And as one final bonus, we do have another bunny figure of Artoria. Although this one took some artistic liberties, this figure would also be insane if it was official. Anyways, this video ended up being a lot longer than I expected, so here is everything still on my wish list. But I'm about to fall asleep, so if you made it to the end of this video, thanks for watching. Subscribing would be awesome, and I hope to see you on the next video. Bye bye!